Chapter 686, Tengu. Zhu Jing continued to tell Jangi about his plan. Eclipse the moon. We must attack them. Only by attacking them will there be peace and happiness. You stay at home with your wife, eating hot pot and singing songs, when suddenly eclipse the moon comes. That's why the days without eclipse the moon are the good days. Jangi still didn't want to take the responsibility. I still don't think I'm cut out for this. Please reconsider. It's fine if I fail, but the point is that I've let you down and disgraced the Jiangnan region and all Chinese people. That's a grave sin. Zhu Jing frowned, and suddenly he came to his senses. Zhang Yi was clearly being difficult. If there was no benefit, of course he wouldn't agree to take on such a big task. Zhu Jing slammed his hand on the table and said, "For this operation, I plan to integrate the remaining members of the Sky God Squad with the Black Robe Squad. You will lead the team and form a new team. I've even thought of a name for it, the Sky Dog." Zhang Yi's eyes went wide. Sky Dog? That's a good name. Zhu Jing continued, "The Sky Dog eats the moon. The purpose of this team is to completely eradicate the Dog Day eclipse for me." He spoke so passionately that he slammed his hand down on the table. Then he spread his hands out towards Zhang Yi. "Zhang Yi, you will be the captain of this team. In other words, congratulations, you can become the head of the investigation team straight away." Zhang Yi was unmoved when he heard this. He reached down and touched his chin, "But this doesn't appeal to me." Bai Li Changqing's emotions were incredibly complex. Zhu Jing had even gone so far as to appoint Zhang Yi as the new captain without even asking his opinion. In other words, he had been team leader for less than a month and now he was gone. However, over this period of time, he had clearly felt that he did not have the strength to be a team leader. And no one else had ever treated him as a team leader. This was a very cruel and realistic world, and people without strength naturally would not be valued. However, compared to this matter, Bai Li Changqing was not surprised by Zhang Yi's attitude. He knew what Zhang Yi wanted. Both Zhu Jing and the security guard Sun Luxuan behind him looked surprised. Zhu Jing asked, "Do you know what it means to be an investigation team leader?" In the entire Jiangnan region, investigation team leaders are a privileged existence. Apart from a small number of high-level people, they have the greatest authority. If you become an investigation team leader, you will have supreme power and prestige. You can be admired by thousands of people and become a hero. Zhang Yi's face did not show the slightest trace of emotion. He just smiled faintly and said nonchalantly, "I don't want to be a hero. Fame and power are not what I want either. I just want a stable life and plenty of material and spiritual enjoyment. But I don't lack those things either." Sun Luxuan's eyes showed a look of astonishment, and as he looked at Zhang Yi, a sense of admiration welled up in his heart. Sun Luxuan smiled and nodded silently. To be able to view fame and fortune with such indifference, this young man's character was truly rare. Zhu Jing also fell into a short silence. His hand was tapping on the table. If even these things didn't matter to Zhang Yi, what could possibly impress him? However, Zhang Yi took the initiative to speak. "I still say the same thing, if you need my help against Eclipse Moon, I will definitely not refuse. But don't make me the team leader. I prefer to work alone. I'll cooperate with you guys at most. And I'm not good at commanding." Zhang Yi hated bringing along a bunch of dead weight. In short, having dead weight around was very troublesome. "So that's what you think?" Zhu Jing took a deep breath. Zhang Yi didn't refuse to join the next encirclement and suppression operation, which made Zhu Jing relatively satisfied. However, he didn't quite understand why young people nowadays were so laid back. Why was it that he had given him the opportunity for promotion and a pay rise, and the chance to make a name for himself, but he wasn't willing to take it? Zhu Jing rubbed his stubbly chin. "But at the moment, apart from you, there is no one else more suitable for the position. After all, to integrate the two investigation teams, then the position of team leader is not one that just anyone can take on. The most crucial thing is that he has to be strong enough." Zhu Jing really did not have a better candidate. Otherwise, he would not have let an outsider from the outer city temporarily take over as the captain of the squad. Jangi smiled slightly. Anyway, you should think about this matter again. I believe there will be someone more suitable than me for this position. The captain was the one who took the blame. If something goes wrong, everyone will have to come to you. Jangi would never do it. Zhu Zheng's expression was a little conflicted, but after a moment's thought, he laughed and said, "Okay, I'll think about it. But if you're willing to join the Tengu, that's a good thing. You can go back and think about it too. If you change your mind, the position will be reserved for you at any time." Zhu Zheng's face wore the gentlest smile he could manage. This left Bai Li Changqing looking dumbfounded. Zhu Zheng, the tiger, who was always known for his authority, rarely showed such expressions to people. Even Deng Shintong, in the past, was often scolded by Zhu Zheng for his loose attitude. Bai Li Changqing couldn't help but look at Zhang Yi. A faint smile hung on that bored face. Apart from being a bit more handsome, there was nothing special about him. But obviously, in Zhu Zheng's heart, his status had already changed. Zhang Yi leaned forward and suddenly said with a smile to Zhu Zheng, "So, Zhu Shuai, if I'm to subdue Eclipse Moon, does that mean I'll get unlimited supplies of resources?" He wasn't going to work for nothing. He was not a fool who would let an opportunity like this pass him by. Blizzard City was a wealthy family, and he had to take advantage of this opportunity to reap the benefits. Moreover, he still has 420 million points that he has not spent. He can't eat them, so he wants to spend them quickly. Zhu Zheng smiled and said, "Of course you can. You can choose whatever weapons you like, just go ahead and take whatever you want." Ahem. At this moment, Sun Luxuan coughed behind him. Then he softly reminded Zhu Zhengdao, "Zhu Shuai, he is an alien from the Space Department." Zhu Zheng's face tensed up, and he suddenly felt a chill down his back. His forehead was starting to sweat. Goodness, he almost spoke his mind and put the Blizzard City's belongings at risk. Cough cough, you can make a list of supplies. I will have someone send them to you. Zhang Yi let out a sigh when he saw that his plan had fallen through. Okay, that'll work. But we can talk about supplies later. I hope I can be equipped with the best equipment. Especially the kind of close-fitting black battle armor. I want to get a few more sets. The black battle armor had left a deep impression on Zhang Yi, and even without using the acceleration skill, it could enhance his physical functions. He was very eager to get it. Chapter 687, Just Want to Lie Down. Zhu Zheng asked curiously, "You want so many suits, do you want to give them to your friends?" After becoming a member of the temporary investigation team, those battle suits were definitely necessary. But Zhang Yi wasn't just thinking about himself. There were so many friends in the family, and it would be best if everyone could have a suit. Zhang Yi nodded. "I should be able to receive a set for myself, right? I'll use my points to redeem the rest. I wonder if that's possible." Upon hearing this, Bai Li Changqing hurriedly reminded Zhang Yi, those things are all the highest technical secrets of Blizzard City and cannot be circulated outside. Zhu Zheng, however, interrupted him. "Why not?" Bai Li Changqing. Zhu Zheng stared at Zhang Yi with burning eyes. In order to be able to avenge his previous humiliation and destroy Eclipse Moon this time, he could satisfy almost any condition of Zhang Yi. As long as this kid, who could break the other party's causal law, was willing to join. Zhu Zheng was a soldier, but he was also a big shot with leadership skills. He knew how to win people over and make them work for him wholeheartedly. A very crucial point was that he must not be stingy. He crossed his arms. "It's just a few sets of battle clothes, right? As long as you want to exchange them, just do whatever you want. After all, we're all on the same side." Zhang Yi quickly waved his hands. "Hey, I was just saying that I would participate in this operation. But that doesn't mean I've agreed to join Blizzard City. I'm still used to staying in my little nest." Zhu Zheng said with a smile, "That's easy to say, no rush to make a decision. The most critical thing at the moment was to solve the problem of Eclipse Moon. As long as Jangi could help him get rid of Eclipse Moon, he would let Jangi call him Big Brother. Well, if there's nothing else, can I leave first? Jangi pointed his finger at the door behind him. He couldn't wait to exchange for some black battle suits. The ones he had previously worn had been secretly lent to him by Li Changqing, and he had already returned them. Now he wanted to hurry and get his own set. Zhu Jing nodded with a smile. Of course you can. Let Li Changqing accompany you there in a moment. By the way, you will also meet a very special person today. Upon hearing this, Zhang Yi and Li Changqing both looked curiously at Zhu Jing. A very special person? How special? Zhang Yi couldn't help but become curious. Zhu Jing said with a serious expression, for this operation, we have learned from our previous experience. We will never underestimate the strength of our opponents again, and will fight with an absolutely superior force. Because of this, I contacted several other investigation teams that are currently on missions. Zhang Yi's eyes narrowed. Are there going to be more investigation teams? Li Changqing swallowed hard. Which investigation team? Zhu Jing smiled faintly. The Samsara Squad. Upon hearing this, Li Changqing's face suddenly brightened from cloudy to sunny, and Zhang Yi could feel his heartfelt joy. Apparently, there were people in the Samsara Squad with whom he was on good terms. That's great. If it's them, our chances of victory will be much higher. Zhu Jing nodded. The other teams are all on important missions and won't be able to come back. Only they happen to have finished their mission in the north and hurried back as soon as they got my message. By then, if your two teams join forces, you will definitely be able to wipe out Eclipse Moon. Zhu Jing clenched his fists. Beneath his smiling face, it was hard to hide the terrible hostility in his heart towards Eclipse Moon. Zhang Yi scratched his cheek. He didn't know anything about the other investigation teams. He had only heard a brief introduction from Li Changqing and knew the names. Right, he was most impressed by the Rose Squad because the members of that team were all women. Well, I will cooperate with them well. Zhang Yi was curious about the Reincarnation Squad. However, he was in a hurry to redeem items, so he bid farewell to Zhu Jing and left from the office. Li Changqing also got up and wanted to leave. However, Zhu Jing stopped him. Li Changqing. Zhu Jing's face still had a smile on it, but the smile disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye, and it finally returned to that cold and majestic face. Zhu Shuai. Li Changqing swallowed. His heart was very nervous. Zhu Jing stared into his eyes, and a frightening light shot out from the brown pupils, making Li Changqing feel cold down his back. Seize this opportunity well. And, don't let it happen again. Li Changqing instantly understood what Zhu Jing meant. He had conspired with Zhang Yi to deceive the senior management of the region, and Zhu Jing was not stupid and could figure it out. The reason why he was not punished now was simply because Blizzard City was in need of people at the moment. So he was given a chance to do well in the next operation against Eclipse Moon. If he doesn't seize the opportunity, or makes the same mistake again, then the harshest punishment of a military tribunal awaits him. Yes. Thank you, Zhu Shuai. Li Changqing stood straight, like a sturdy pillar. It wasn't until he left Zhu Jing's office that he realized his back was soaked through and his legs were weak. Li Changqing let out a long breath, his face turning pale. But after the cool air in his chest and abdomen had been exhaled, he felt a lot more relaxed inside. He had temporarily passed this hurdle. Zhang Yi was not far away, leaning against the wall and watching him calmly. This matter did not concern him much, and he also knew that Zhu Jing would not discipline Li Changqing at this time. After all, he was in need of people. Are you okay? Zhang Yi asked. Li Changqing looked around. The nearby Yan Yunwei were indeed looking curiously in this direction. He quickly straightened his back and pretended to be carefree as he walked next to Zhang Yi. Nothing, just Zhu Shuai encouraging me a bit, telling me to work hard, ha ha ha. After all, he was a middle-aged man who still wanted to save face. Zhang Yi didn't expose him either. Let's go, take me to redeem weapons. I only want that black battlesuit now, the others don't matter. Jangi did not lack for supplies. The only things that would make him excited in the Blizzard City warehouse were weapons of cutting-edge technology. Bai Changqing tilted his head and looked at Zhang Yi. The points required for exchange are quite high. Are you sure you want to exchange all of them? Zhang Yi touched his cheek and said nonchalantly, apart from that, I don't need anything else for the time being. And, he said with a sly smile, when the time comes and we really have to attack Eclipse Moon, won't I be able to take whatever weapons I want? I don't believe Zhu Shuai will be stingy with weapons. Bai Changqing was speechless. He pointed at Zhang Yi and couldn't help but say, You really know how to calculate. Zhang Yi put his hands in his pockets with a slight air of smugness. Bai Changqing said mysteriously, You, after all, still underestimate the strength of the big area. The really good stuff isn't the stuff you see.